Welcome back to the Mold Safe Home Build channel. I'm Dr. Karen Curitin, a specialist in helping people heal from mold illness and nervous system dysregulation. And this channel is all about sharing my journey to build a mold safe home with you. In my last video, which was part one of my series on RV life for mold avoidance, I discussed why we chose to sell our last home and do full-time RV life as we worked on building our healthier home. And I told you about exactly which brand of RV we chose and why, so that we had the least chance of exposure to mold while living RV life, where we chose to park our RV and why, and a lot more. So if you missed that video, you can click the link on the screen I'm going to put up there so you can watch that. Now I want to get into the pros and cons of RV life for mold avoidance, especially if your goal is to build a mold safe home. So in this video, I'm going to share my 9 pros to RV life, and in the next video, I'll get into the cons that we've experienced of RV life, so you know what you'd be getting into if you chose to do this for yourself. And if you're already doing RV life for mold avoidance and you want to share some things that you've learned that maybe I don't mention, put them in the comments. Other people, I'm sure, would love to see those. So, without further ado, the pros of RV life for mold avoidance. Pro number one is it has allowed me to continue my healing from my last big exposure in our home. I think for everyone who has been through mold illness, the goal is to be able to start healing and for that healing to continue unimpeded until you get all the way there, right? And the first step to that being possible is being removed from the exposure. Yes, there are a lot of things you can do to support your body to be more resilient to exposure to mycotoxins and endotoxins and all that other stuff while you're in a water damaged building, but there's going to be a limit to how much you can improve until you remove the exposure. So, my experience living in an ATC RV specifically has been that my healing has continued unimpeded. Nothing has regressed backwards, and I've made actually huge strides in healing from that last mold exposure. I would say I'm most of the way there. So, that's been great. Pro number two, living this RV lifestyle, we can follow dry, warm weather. And what that allows us to do is get an abundance of fresh air exposure, both inside the trailers. Um, and obviously, we can just spend more time outside, right? And I am a huge proponent of spending time outside as an actual healing modality. So I spend a lot of time out in the sun and exercising outside, and trailer life has actually made that easier because we're in the desert. It's almost always sunny and we're following the warmth. So yeah, it makes it pretty nice. Pro number three, doing RV life has allowed us to deeply evaluate where we want to live, where we want to build our home, our healthy home. And it's done that for us because it allowed us to spend significant periods of time in each place that we were considering. Just being able to plop our house in a variety of places for a month or two at a time made it so much easier. And we had a healthy space to live while doing it, right? As opposed to renting hotel rooms or Airbnbs. That can get really expensive, and you might still be having significant exposures in them, just depending. So, since we knew that we didn't want to build where we owned our last home, which was in Oregon, but we didn't know where we did want to move to, RV life gave us the chance to spend at least a month in each place that was a good candidate for us. So from that, we were able to get a sense of how we actually felt there. Did we feel healthy there? Did the outdoor air feel of good quality? What the community is like, and if we thought we would be able to easily integrate there. I think that's a big component for many of us to feel really comfortable moving to a new place. Also, we were able to evaluate all the grocery stores in the area, some of the veterinarians. Sometimes we would get established with a vet locally because, well, things happen on the road with your animals and you have to. We could look at what kind of doctors were in the area. Um, we could experience a lot of the outdoor activities and see what local travel options were available for day trips, all that kind of good stuff. And then lastly, and very importantly, we could actually look at what kinds of land was available in those places for sale. And we found that land, so much more so than with homes, you really could not evaluate via real estate postings online. The pictures do not do justice to land. The pictures can make it look a heck of a lot better than it actually is, or a heck of a lot worse. And I find that they're much less representative than real estate home photos if you're going to try to buy a home. So you really need to be in that location, going to these lots and seeing them in person. So actually, the lot of land that we actually found and chose that we were going to build on, we found just from a sign posted on the street in front of the lot. It was not even listed on real estate websites yet. And actually, the person never listed it on real estate websites because we bought it. But yeah, we never would have found that lot had we not been in the area driving around and looking at other lots for sale. It happened to be right across the street from one that was posted on real estate websites. And we were like, huh, this is interesting. Let's look this up. Oh, this is not posted. Let's just call the number and see what's going on with it. We like this one. So, yeah, if you're planning on building, then you really need to spend some time in the area to look at the land options, and you need to be there to actually find the right lot that you want. I would never suggest doing that from photos online. And we were able to really spend some time there evaluating that lot in a variety of different ways, too. As an example, there was a huge storm there while we were there where it rained really, really heavily for like 4 or 5 days straight. And we were like, oh, well, let's go out to the lot and see what it looks like in the rain. Because this was during the time when we were still negotiating or it was in the inspection period or something like that. And so we were like, let's go see how it's handling that. And that's always a good thing to do. You want to see if there are any lakes forming from low spots. You want to see, is there like a spring or stream running through the lot when there's really heavy water? That actually is something that happened at one of our old homes where we lived in Portland. There was like a little mini river through our backyard whenever it rained heavily. And we bought our home in August when it basically never rains in Portland. So we had no idea about that until the winter came and we were starting to get lots of rain. And then we were like, holy cow. And we were downstream or down the hill from neighbors. So there was no stopping it. It was going to run through the backyard. And so imagine if that river had been running directly towards the foundation of the house. That would have been really horrible, right? So, yeah, it's good to see your lot in a variety of different kinds of conditions, and being there for a long period of time gives you that opportunity. Okay. Pro number 4 of RV life, we will be able to be on site and supervise every aspect of our home build. We have that ability for multiple reasons. One, we're already living RV life. Two, our lot actually has utilities on it. You wouldn't have to have utilities, but it would make it a lot easier. So there are already electric, water, and sewer hookups for RVs on our lot, which was one of the incredibly serendipitous things about finding our lot because we already knew we wanted to be able to be on site and supervise all aspects of our build. So, yeah, we're going to be able to do that. If you didn't have utilities for RVs, you could either have those put in before the time the build starts so that you could be in an RV overseeing the build, or you could just plan to take your RV off site to dump your septic and fill your water tank regularly. But, we find that to be a big pain with these travel trailers. Wouldn't be such a big deal if we had a van or something like that, but as far as I know, and there are no van builds, or I think they're called Class B, where the smaller RVs with the motor on the front that are built without OSB and wood, cardboard, paper, etc., all in the build, making them more mold and mycotoxin prone with moisture issues. So we went with an ATC RV, and ATC only sells travel trailers. So, yeah, so that's what we have. And it's a bit of a pain to move it regularly in my mind, having to hook it back up to your tow vehicle and get everything strapped down and all that kind of stuff. So, if you can have utilities on site, that would be better. So, that's a huge pro for us. We have talked to Healthy Home builders, architects, consultants, etc. And they've all said, oh, yeah, that is such a good idea to be on site and monitor everything because mistakes happen in construction all the time. Not necessarily because they weren't planned well, but sometimes people forget about what was planned, especially if something's being done in a unique way or something they haven't done before. They might accidentally revert to the way they normally do it, which might be not ideal for mold prevention or for toxin mitigation or things like that. We talked to one architect who had had her own healthy home built, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, even though I'm an architect and I knew how everything should be done, I couldn't be there all of the time. And so I would come home sometimes and see something that they had done that day and be like, oh my God, we have to get them to start over and do this again because it was done incorrectly." And sometimes those mistakes that are made are things that you can't see after the fact because maybe they get covered up in the next phase of the build, and maybe that happens before you get to see it. So, if at all possible, having eyes on things, I think, is a good idea. Another reason for that being that, let's say you're super chemically sensitive and you really don't want any chemicals that have horrible off-gassing to be used in the build. And, if you're not there, sometimes those things can still happen. Accidents can be made, especially by subcontractors that maybe don't get the memo. In some of the stuff I've read about that, sometimes those toxins can penetrate the slab or whatever else is already there of the building and can be difficult to get those chemical toxicants really out for the inhabitants. So, yeah, ideally we can prevent those mistakes. So that's pro number 4. We get to be on site and supervise every aspect of the home build. Pro number 5, we have the freedom to take our home wherever we want to go. And we have been to some pretty incredible places through RV life already. Really beautiful locations, though we have found for a variety of reasons that we actually prefer to stay in each place for a month or more at a time. One of the reasons being so we could really suss out that location. The other one being that you save a ton of money on the fees for the RV sites if you stay a month at a time. Most RV parks have monthly rates, and those monthly rates are dramatically cheaper than weekly rates or daily rates added up for a month. So we haven't seen as many amazing places as we thought we would before starting this lifestyle. We thought we would bounce around more than we have, but we just found very quickly that's a huge hassle, especially because this isn't vacation for us, right? We're living on the road. And so we are working during the week, and it's a big deal to move. There's a lot that has to go into each move. And so we just decided, you know what? No, we're going to go to some cool places, but we're going to be there for longer periods of time. But it's been a nice opportunity to be able to do that. Pro number 5, downsizing for our RV life really forced us to get rid of a lot of our stuff that could not be decontaminated with mycotoxins and that should not be brought into our new home. My husband, to be honest, probably would have insisted on keeping some of those things because he was sentimentally attached to them. We went through 2 mold remediations together, since we've been married, and it's been a bit of a battle each time, even though he understands the science and why it's really not worth the risk to hang on to that stuff. It's been a struggle because he has more attachment to the stuff that we've owned than I have. For RV life, well, we had to downsize so incredibly dramatically that we naturally had to let go of all of that stuff. I guess we could have gotten a storage unit, but we didn't want to have to pay for it or come back to wherever it was to come get all that stuff when RV life was ending when we had built a home. So we got rid of it. So, pro number 6, there is the potential to save money doing RV life if your expenses are less than they were when you owned or rented a house. Um, for us, it really has not ended up being money saving in terms of housing expenses because we have 2 trailers and 2 trucks. But that being said, that lack of saving in housing expenses has balanced out through saving money on my health, right? We have dramatically reduced the amount of spending we were doing to manage my health while we were in toxic mold. And so that has saved us money. But things you want to plan for in terms of expenses are obviously your trailer payment if you don't own it, your truck payment if you don't own it, insurance on all the vehicles, electricity. It's usually not very expensive, but it does depend where you are. We're in California right now, and they charge a lot more for electricity, but you can always find out what the electric rates are where you're going to be staying. The site rental costs, which are more than the cost of our trailers per month, and the higher gas cost as well of moving around. So think about all those things, budget for all those things when you are trying to decide, is this actually going to save us money or is this not going to save us money? And then at the end of the day, there's always the question of, well, even if it doesn't save us money, if it saves my health and my life, how much is that worth? Right? And so that was a big part of the decision for us too. All right, pro number 7, it gives you a chance to see what still needs to be rebalanced or repaired with your health once the exposure has ended. So if you go into like an ATC type of trailer, brand new and hasn't had any water events yet, they've leak tested it and all that good stuff. It doesn't have any wood, drywall, paper, cardboard, etc. And it's a pretty good bet that it's going to be a cleaner environment than the one you came from and maybe totally mycotoxin free. I did not test our trailer at the time that we took it home, but that was because it was a custom build. We had to go many states away to pick it up when it was finished being built for us. It had to be prepaid with a deposit and all that kind of stuff. So that was a bit of a leap of faith, but it has worked out really well. And as I said, my health has just continued to improve dramatically. So what I mean by you get a chance to see what still needs to be rebalanced or repaired is that when you're still being exposed, you have all these symptoms or imbalances going on, the first thing to think about is, oh, that's probably related to the exposure, right? Because mycotoxins can impact every system of the body and different mycotoxins have different impacts. If you're being exposed to a bunch of them, yeah, the first thing to say is, well, I guess these things might be from the exposure. But once you get out of the exposure and then you clear the fungus out of your body, out of your sinuses and your digestive tract, which is really important because they can produce mycotoxins inside your body too, then you have a clear slate. You can say, okay, well, now the exposure has stopped. There's no more mycotoxins coming in. I've detoxed immensely. So what else might still need repair, right? The mycotoxins can do a lot of damage depending on how long we're exposed, what we're exposed to, how our terrain was doing at the time of exposure. So they can do a lot of damage. And so we can then see what still needs rebalancing or repair. So I'll give you an example from my life. So when we started Trailer Life, I had just finished clearing the fungus out of my gut. And I think I was most of the way to clearing it out of my sinuses. And I had already been doing 6 months of dedicated detox. So when I got C. diff early on in that journey, which is a pretty serious intestinal infection, it was a huge indication to me that my microbiome was still really decimated and struggling from likely the mold exposure, right? In addition to many antibiotics I had had in the past. And C. diff is an infection that really usually only thrives in a microbiome that's already really struggling. So I was like, okay, this is a great indication that I really need to work more on repairing and rehabilitating my microbiome. So that's what I ended up doing, and that's how I got rid of C. diff. And yeah, I continue to work on getting that happier and happier back to a healthier microbiome since then. So if that had happened while I was still living in mold, I might have just been like, oh, well, maybe I just got C. diff because I'm immunosuppressed from the current exposure. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I explained it well enough. Pro number 8. So when you live RV life, you are also freed up from taking care of a house, a yard, and all your stuff. And I don't know about you, but it felt like we spent a ton of time just taking care of our house and our yard and all of our stuff. It felt like a big part of what we did every week. They all seemed to need regular maintenance. Obviously, it was a lot more space. We had a lot more crap to take care of. So, you know, that's really tough if you're sick and trying to heal. And so I think it can be a big relief of burden to do RV life for a period of time while you're healing. Pro number 9, RV life has helped us get really clear on what's actually important to us and what we really need to feel like we have a quality of life. For my husband Josh, it really helped him to let go of his intense attachment to having lots of stuff. Having to get rid of all that stuff for this new lifestyle, but then seeing how incredible this lifestyle has been for helping me to heal and to help us actually enjoy our life again and our relationship again completely shifted his perspective. And he said he would make the same choice again if he had to, even though there have been some really hard parts of making this transition and living this lifestyle. He was like, it did what we intended it to do. And that has meant everything. It's been worth letting go of all of the stuff. And so now, for the first time in his life, he doesn't want to own all the things anymore. He actually is seeing the beauty of a minimalist lifestyle and that none of that stuff actually increased his quality of life. So even when we have a home again, he doesn't want to fill it up with stuff, which is what we used to do. All of that being said, it was still really hard for him in the moment when we were letting go of all of our stuff, our house. It was really hard. He was angry. He was afraid, and really he was hating every moment of it. But now he says it was worth it and he would do it again. So now his mindset has shifted to what actually makes us happy and healthy. That's what he wants: a clean living environment, lots of outdoor activities at our fingertips, a beautiful place, a wonderful community, right? Things like that. So RV life is not just a detox from mold exposure, and it may not even be that. Depending on the RV you get, you've got to be careful about that. See my first video about RV life for more info about that. But RV life is not just a detox from mold exposure, it's a detox from everything you thought you wanted in life. It allows you to reevaluate all of it and really find out what your true priorities are. So, those are the top benefits of RV life for mold avoidance from our perspective. Some of these benefits are specific to those people who really have a desire to build a mold safe home. So, hopefully, that was helpful to you. If it was, please like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know. And like I said, if you're also using RV life as a way to get well from mold toxicity, let us know if I missed any major upsides to this lifestyle that you want people to know about. And if you know somebody who is being poisoned by mold in their home and might want to learn about living RV life as a way to getting well, please share this video with them. And if you need some help yourself healing from mold illness or nervous system dysregulation, you can find links below related to how I can help you with that. All right. I will catch you in the next video where we'll be talking about all the cons of RV life for mold avoidance. I'll see you there.